Hi, so I guess I'll start now. So I'll be talking today about recommendations in client reward program, and here is the agenda. First I introduce our unit, what we do, myself, then we state what problem we are trying to solve, then we look at the underlying data, how to solve this problem, then we look at the toolbox we use to solve it, then we look at the ways how to recommend things in general and some implementations in code. Then we think and discuss a bit about future developments and considerations, what we might have. And then we take a kind of general summary and takeaways from this. So I'm coming from Swedbank Competence Center for Advanced Analytics, and we kind of support the different Swedbank group units with data science initiatives, and here you can see some examples which we could use, that we could build, for example, propensity models, for example, propensity for buying some product. We could do some churn model, for example, we could do mortgage churn model, then we could be involved in projects which contain some anti-money laundering elements. Then we could do, for example, client segmentation models. And then also we could do some text analytics related things. And here those illustrations kind of show to be more interactive, the clustering, and for example, one of the term weighting scheme could be DF-IDF, for example. And I are mostly involved in research and development group and do different projects there, but mostly are interested in natural language processing area and try to concentrate into there. So what's the problem? Why we are looking now this topic? Basically, it all started with customer satisfaction project which we had, and one component in there you could look at that we would like to kind of minimize customer effort or friction when interacting with our services and products. So this could be one. Then also I mapped down some recommender system use cases. And also, in addition, which is kind of led to it, is that I had personal issue that I had accumulated quite a lot of those premium points, and I want to order a gift. So I'll soon introduce the program, but what is it about? But in general, in Internet Bank, we have a page, and I'm talking currently concretely about Estonian Swedbank Internet Bank. We have a page where those clients who, for example, pay with a card, each card payment kind of gives you some points, and later when you find out that you have accumulated quite a lot of them, then you can order a gift. And in previous page, basically you can see that there are different types of gifts which you order. It can be a bank product, it can be some discount in some shop where bank is a partner of, and so on. And why this program was done? Basically, I would say that to engage our clients, so they would be comfortable in our retail bank and keep using it, and of course to promote card payments, because if you pay with a debit card or credit card, then you earn those points. This is how you get them. Then also, in general, to promote bank products, because one of the category which I mentioned is that you can order bank product, for example, some discount for some new agreement which you're doing and so on. And this, of course, increases the sales. And then also promote charity, I would say that one of the categories is also the charity, that you can donate, basically. So what were the issues with the current standing, as you saw in here? It's a cutout from the internet page. And the issues, I would say, is that it's a long list of gifts. And so there are several hundred of them and it will be quite time inefficient to go all through them. Then there are some options currently to filter by category, but they are very broad. That some electronics, bank offers, magazines. Of course, you need some more personalization. And then last point is that the personalization is lacking. That there is kind of poor mapping from my preferences to gifts. So idea for me was that it was a early summertime, and I basically wanted to build this recommender for myself, that I didn't want to go through this list. So as a data scientist, I thought that it should be easy to me to build some recommender. So we did it, and the general aim, of course, for me was that to improve on this customer effort score, which turns out to be some kind of matrix which you would like to follow. And now to do it, then we need some data. And here you can see example. For example, each row is kind of one gift order, and let's take the last one, that in March this year, I see that I have accumulated by that time over 1,000 points. Then the order status, it turned out that I ordered something, but the order expired. So later I'll explain why. And I ordered some kind of silicon memory stick or memory card or something. And the category for that one is, of course, electronics. And for the period which I looked, it was from 2016 to kind of year-to-date 2018. And it seems that in Estonia for this period there were kind of 3,000 unique clients participating in that program. And through the history, they have been listing over 1,000 unique gifts, for example, from those different variety of categories. And through this period also, if you want some statistics, that there were 1 million gifts ordered. So yeah. And I wanted to point out that that it turns out that 55% of those orders actually will be filled, and the rest are majority of dominant is that they will expire, that the window when you can order it and then collect it is quite narrow, and if you actually go deep into those comments when clients come back with us that what is the problem, then they say that this window is too narrow and the expire period is very kind of fast, and this needs to be changed. So yeah, it's still quite a large number, I would say. And if you now look the category allocation, then you see that the free time is kind of most common things that people maybe the points which are collected are small, and maybe that's why may account at the free time more. Then also bank offers, which we want to promote, is quite high. I would say one quarter of them. But then it's kind of drops that the charity is not anymore so popular, and so on. And now again, some statistics that around through the time, around 20% of clients have ordered only once, and so maybe they have had this disappointing 35% case, and they don't want to order anything more. And if you look at by element, that what are by gift names, for example, what are the most popular gifts, then here we also can say that the bank payments, free bank payments for 3-month period and 6-month period are the most popular, but people also are fancying for gift cards and so on. And just for fun, I looked at what is not so popular. For example, some birthday party in some Lotte cafeteria is not popular at all with clients, so they have ordered it only once. So, before we do anything with this data, we need to do some basic cleaning. I will not go into that one very much, but you need to reshape it a bit and do some basic feature engineering. For example, I would maybe mention that from this table, basically, you can also calculate from date order the date of month, that in which month basically the gift was ordered. That there could be some seasonality based. That let's say that I have a house and I like to order gardening related products, maybe in spring or in summertime more, and this could be also one of the describing variables if we look into contextually more. And again, one flag which we could easily, if we look at the basics, that could ask that is it a durable good, for example. Again, if I buy this lawn mower, then probably I don't buy it for several years if it doesn't break or something. But for some magazines which are more regular to me, that these are not durable goods. These I buy more often. There is some regularity. And one problem also which I discovered in data was that in some cases the gift, actually if you look at the name, the gift, the entity is the same, but some person who has inserted into the system just put inside some strings, and now basically they are same, but it's in string representation they are not, but in entity-wise they are. But you can use here this entity resolution and apply this first to kind of make it more canonical, and then reduce the dimensionality. If we are currently in this infrastructure and tools track, then I should mention some tools which we use, and for that I'm mostly working in Python, and in there great help came from kind of regular Python stacks like pandas and numpy and scikit-learn, but also internally we use quite a lot of PySpark. This is kind of our main big data tool, and of course nowadays you have to do some deep learning to be a respectable person, and for that I personally like PyTorch. And it's quite Pythonic. It's like NumPy on GPU. It's easy to debug, and it's the reason why I like it was also that it was kind of the first tool in one of our research and development platforms. But you also acknowledge that TensorFlow with Keras API work very well. And if you are interested, then I also looked at that there are some specialized commander system libraries, for example, Surprise, which is built on top of scikit-learn, Spotlight, which is built on top of PyTorch, for example. And so if you're interested, then take a look. So now we come to ways of recommending. And of course, you will start with the simple things that you can recommend by surprise. For example, if you look at this simple formula, then in machine learning parlance you can do the kind of this extreme exploration, that this alpha or A would be 0 in here, that it generates from this gift list the suggestion to you randomly. And then in my files, I believe I have some Python function, which takes in this gifts data frame and splits up top 10 gifts by random. Now this is probably not what I wanted, and I looked at those results, and it didn't satisfy me. So I went on. You could recommend by popularity. You could look at this wisdom of clients or something related to that. And I would say that it works quite well, and in the easiest way, which you also see in internet interfaces, that this is quite well used and exploited, that it can help you with this client call startup problem, and these top lists are always there in in different websites. And in ours also I see that now they added it at some point, and it just ranks the items by counts, basically. So again, you have a function, recommend by popularity, and takes in again this gift list and spits out top 10 for some period, maybe, which you also want to put in here. Then you could also go on that maybe this is also not so good for you, maybe you need also more personalization. Then you can recommend by similarity. That historically, if you have ordered technology-related stuff, then maybe you are a technology-related person, and in the future you also would like to receive some recommendations in that area. So we could use that approach. And here, basically, how I do it is that I convert it to natural language processing problem, that I look at the gift name, and then I kind of calculate the similarities between different gift names. So, but in here, you can also take into account additional information. For example, you can wave scrape the gift product description from production web page and so on. So there is quite a lot to do. But basically, yes, you do again the basic text cleaning, then you vectorize the gift, then you get this big gift-to-gift similarity matrix, and then you can calculate similarities between those gifts' names, for example, in our case. And the similarity matrix which I used is the cosine similarity, which is our case ranges from -2 to 1, -2 to +1. So here, for example, if you previously saw that I ordered this memory card historically, then it offers me quite a lot of those similar memory cards. For example, I wanted 32 gigs, but it offers also some variation of 32 gigs and so on. But later, after some time, you can see that the score or similarity between those vectors drops quite a lot. So, and the function in here is that this recommend product by similarity, and again it takes in matrix and this gift data frame, and the party for which ID which I want to recommend, and puts this table. Then for possible enhancements which I describe in here, which I thought when I did it, could be that you can weight together based on already ordered items, that maybe you have a preference for some items more, and again it could be kind of context dependent. You could maybe to make it more interesting to incorporate some surprise elements. Maybe not a blind surprise, but again some contextually related surprise elements. You could add regularity dimension. For example, I have written here that you have not donated for a while and would put this one into the recommender. Then, since I'm coming from natural language processing, then I thought that gift to EC could be one option to do at first, and then go to those similarity measures. And then there are some pros and cons to this approach, that it's very easy and transparent if you have this product description info, but it can be also problematic in sense way, which I mostly mention, is that it's quite static, that as you can see from here, that it recommends me very, very similar things in this string context-wise. So it's maybe not, again, what I want. And then I went on. Then I looked at probably there is most common way which is used is this matrix factorization based one, which is kind of industry standard, I believe. And again, here you need to do first some transformations, that you get this big client and gift matrix. Then you apply some matrix factorization technique, And again, then I got this kind of similarity metrics and used the same approach as I did for this content-based recommender ones. And here, if I look at the results, this is more varied and it's more interesting. And if I look at it, then I would even say that indeed that I would order definitely some of those suggestions. So it kind of captures more, I would say, the needs or interests which I would have. And for that one, basically, yes, you don't need so much of domain knowledge. You just have those user and item pairs, if you leave this context aside, and you just apply it in any area. It's a quite solid baseline model. So let's see. So when I was finished with it, then I also did some deep learning related things. When I did it, I discovered a nice blog post from Cloudera, Fast Forward Labs, and they had just done research in that area and had some examples that how to do it in PyTorch. And here, I believe you can see some extract from my own notebook where I played this game. And it's basically same thing as previously, this matrix factorization, but now it's kind of written in a deep learning way, I would say. And in here also you see that since it's a recommendation system talk, I also recommend some books for you, which I have found quite interesting. One is this deep learning with Python by Francois Chollet, who's the author of this Keras API. Then the next book is Natural Language Processing with PyTorch, which is not yet released, but it should be definitely interesting if you are into this area. And the last one here is that hands-on machine learning with scikit-learn and TensorFlow. And for that one, this covers very, very deep and detailed way, different machine learning related areas. Starts with shallow learning, goes to deep learning, and now the new version should also cover TensorFlow 2.0. So this is also a book I found helpful. So the future developments and considerations which we could discuss and look into are that there is definitely potential if you want to implement it in our internet bank, that solid recommender system, when we have it, also gives possibility to expand the gift set. For example, when we currently have like 300-400, then we could increase it. But of course, there are resource limitations on other side that can be delivered physically, those gifts and so on. Also, what I thought that we should differentiate between short-term needs, like latest interactions, the trending gifts, and long-term preference, for example, that I have short-term preference towards technology, but in short-term I have some need which need to be delivered. Then life events can introduce shifts on interest. For example, if you get a child, previously maybe I was not looking at this category, but now I also look at child-related gifts. Then we talked about regularity, about contextuality, and also some basic business rules. For example, if I look at the system right now, that it doesn't take into account that how many points I currently have, and if I have quite a small number of points, it still recommends me some products for which I need like 2,000 points or something like that. So this is one example how to have those business exclusion rules. So some takeaways generally, that recommender systems could indeed help with kind of smooth and easy interaction with the bank, that you don't have so much friction, this customer effort score which I mentioned. Then pensionization builds satisfaction and loyalty, which we have seen internally when we have looked into further by joining other data. Then we also saw that pure content-based recommender systems lack this novelty element, that you get all the ones which you hold historical, you get the same ones, basically. Then this popularity and magic factorization-based approaches are, I would say, quite good for practical purposes, and you don't need to get so fancy. No, deep learning can be helpful, but this one needs further research, because I did it as an exercise for maybe 2 days, and then I went to vacation, and I haven't continued this work. Then recommender systems, of course, need additional contextual information to be more relevant and timely. This is the thing which can be incorporated by simpler rules or with an end-to-end model, for example. And as you saw also in this tool slice, that there are many open source tools to try out. So go ahead and test them. And thank you. It's all I've got. And if you have questions, then you can email me or ask right away.